Hello, welcome back to my series of videos on camera stuff. This video is going to be a wild ride. Whenever I look for cameras, inevitably I come across some generic, no brand name visible camera that's typically relatively cheap as cameras go. They have a lot of reviews and it's very clear that a lot of people are buying them. I don't know why that is. So I bit the bullet. What does that mean? I went ahead and I bought one to kind of see how bad it is. It's pretty bad. This is the Vivitar Vivicam X018. Vivitar is a company that used to actually make products that were good and stuff, but I think at some point they got sold to a company that just uses their name on a bunch of random products. How bad could it be? Let's take a look at it, right? You got the tripod screw, you got a flippy screen. I mean, everybody knows you can't make YouTube videos without a flippy screen. That's essential, so that's a good inclusion. It says digital lens. I don't know what that means. What it means is that there's no actual zoom on this camera. It's old digital zoom, and not the good kind. I found it on eBay, listed for like $15. That's a little bit too expensive for something that I know is not gonna work very well. So why don't I, kind of lowball them, and then we can kind of go up from there. So I submitted like, an offer of $5, I think it was. And they accepted it. No questions asked. So that's the bar that's been set for this thing. When I first tried it out, I put in one of my relatively nice SD cards, 64 gigabytes, and it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work with 64 gigabytes. So I tried a 16 gigabyte card, wouldn't work with that either. Eventually, I got this really old 8 gigabyte card. Let's get some batteries in here. Kind of funny thing about this is that these batteries are actually more expensive than this camera. These are like cool rechargeable batteries. A USB plug in the battery. Do you see that? Isn't that crazy? So I took a good break of about 26 hours or so, and I'm back, ready to face this camera, at least as ready as I'll ever be. How do you go about taking a picture? Well, I should say on the front, it says 7mm on the front. Now, I don't know if they just made that up or if that's actually the lens on this, but to give you a perspective, I'm on a micro four thirds camera, and the lens I'm using right now, this lens is a 7.5mm lens. This, probably like a 50mm full frame equivalent, like it's super zoomed in. Not to mention, it says f3, I'm not sure if that's correct either. With f3 aperture, you'd expect some stuff to get kind of blurry and some stuff to be in focus, but instead it's really a pointed at something and it's focused on everything type thing. Again, the lens I'm using now I think has an aperture of like 2.8 or something, and as you can see when I focus up close, you can see there's like background blur and stuff like that. There is none of that here, I tell you. But don't worry, we have two focus functions, a macro function or a mountain function. I say mountain because it just has a little mountain symbol there. I really don't see a difference. When the scene is too bright, a little piece of text will come up and it says, turn off flash, instead of just, I don't know, turning the flash off by itself. It just prompts you to do it. It says that it captures 10 megapixels. I don't believe that for a second. Ready? Pointing at my camera. This is about the slowest shutter speed you could probably have. Ready? Click. There you are. It took that, and it took approximately 5 seconds for the thing to process. Like, can I do burst? Let's find out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It does about a picture per 10 seconds. There's the picture. I bought this with my money that I earned doing a minimum wage job. Sometimes I don't know why I do these things. It has zoom. I think there's some confusion with digital zoom for most people, okay? When I zoom in and I take a picture, it's as if I just took a normal picture and it just made the picture smaller by cropping in on it. Modern cameras and smartphones and stuff have lossless digital zoom. For every pixel you have in a video, it's actually probably made up of, let's say 1.3 pixels. It's taking the image it gets from the sensor on the camera and then just shrinking it down into a video file. When the video is downscaled like that, it typically looks higher quality, or there might be less noise. There's a lot of different benefits. So when you do a digital zoom, what it's doing is just changing that ratio, you know, and like when you zoom in to the maximum, it just means that every pixel in the video represents 1 pixel on the sensor. Does that make any sense? I've spent like 10 minutes trying to explain this, and it's just kind of confusing. On this camera, it should be no surprise to you that it is not doing that. It's not any fancy digital zoom. You know, it's just cropping right in, and when you zoom in all the way, you can see and count every single picture. Wow. Breathtaking. I think this is pretty targeted at like teens who want to start a YouTube channel and they want something cheap, because this is here specifically for vlogging. You're not going to use that kind of thing for anything else really. Let's check out the video function, shall we? Why hello, this is the video. Now let's zoom in here. Oh, I forgot, we got to change it to macro. Change it to macro. Zoom in. Oh my gosh, why is it taking such a long time? Wow. When I first tried this camera out in the video mode, I thought there was some kind of stabilization. You know, stabilization is great if you're shaky. This camera must have it, because when I would move the camera, it would take a second and then the camera would move. No, it's not stabilized. It's just the monitor is delayed. Click. Goodbye. I got this for $5, right? $5 is not a lot of money for some kind of gadget or technology thing. Really, there's nothing to be mad at, right? Right? Wrong. The recommended retail price for this is $40 right now, not in 1997, right now. At Walmart across America, you can walk in and they will sell you this right here for $40. Somebody on eBay right now is trying to get rid of them for $35 each. Good luck with that. Just the other day, I got this camera in the mail. This cost me $35, okay? Look at this beast of a camera. It zooms. Do you see all the knobs and dials and stuff on this thing? It has a hot shoe. It has a real actual viewfinder. You can see me through the viewfinder. And the viewfinder actually changes as you zoom. I love this camera. It's a joy to shoot with. It's fun. It's a real chunky camera. It's got everything you need, and it was super cheap. Now, obviously, I got a really good deal. Instead of getting something like this, somebody who's interested in photography or video, this thing is gonna scare them off. They're not gonna want to do anything involving pictures or video after this thing. I mean, what is this? For $35, I'm sure you could get a pretty nice used point-and-shoot camera that did a solid 1080p 60 FPS. This is preying on people who just don't know better, and I can't help but feel like this is malicious, and this is why. You see this, it's made to look like it's a handheld point and shoot that has a zoomy lens, you know? There's like these levels of plastic, and when a traditional point and shoot camera is turned off, you know, the lens retracts in and kind of looks like that. Oh, the menu buttons don't work. I gotta get this thing open. You know, I'm not one of those people who thinks it's cool to destroy stuff for views, so I'm gonna try to not destroy this thing, but it would be doing a favor to humanity, I think. I am convinced there's just a single circus board in here. Okay, I can't take it anymore. Get open. Oh, cable just broke. So that's the end of that. Camera, show me your secrets. So this is the lens. This is the pro lens setup. Oh, there's the microphone. It looks like the microphone is punctured, and I haven't touched it yet, so... DIY sensor cleaning. You want your sensor cleaned? This is really interesting. It looks like there's glass over the sensor. I'm gonna get this all recycled, but I really think it was for the best interest of humanity. This front bit is actual metal. That's what's so heavy. That explains that. I think what we've learned here today is that find a camera online, look it up first, try to find some reviews. If you don't find any reviews for it, I wouldn't buy it. If you want a cheap camera, it depends on your priorities. You know, like I said, this camera I got, and it's gorgeous. I love it. I could carry this nice camera around, but I'm kind of terrified that it's going to get destroyed somehow. I have a lot more cooler camera stuff coming up soon. I also have stuff not related to cameras, because that's not what my channel's about, just cameras, but it's about all sorts of things. So I would like to thank my Patreon supporters. I recently did some updates over there on my Patreon. For now, there's not going to be monthly stickers. I've changed it to a different reward that I hope you guys are still going to like. But unfortunately, it wasn't working out financially. I'm also going to include a link to a website where you can support me for as little as 10 cents per month, which is really great because that stuff adds up really fast. So, thanks. Really appreciate it. And